perfect, and not wanting any, not being covetous. Because if you don't have the truth, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be seeking the things of the world, right? And it says, if any of you lack wisdom, right? And we could always learn more. Always learn more, right? If any of you lack wisdom, right? So there may be particular scriptures you don't understand, right? Because what you're lacking in wisdom at that point of time. Let him ask of the Most High that gives to all men liberally. Ultimately, you're asking through Yahawashi because you can only go through Yahawashi. Liberally. That giveth to all men liberally. Generously. Large amounts. So if you're asking Yahawashi, he's going to give you in very large amounts. Liberally. Generously. Right? And upbraid, if not, he ain't going to talk bad about you. You may do something for an individual, or he may do something for you. He may give you something, buy you something. Yahawashi ain't going to say, I done this for you, and he didn't do this for me. Yahawashi ain't like that. He ain't going to upbraid you, he ain't going to scorn you. Right? Because he wants you to pray for him. Right? He ain't going to say, oh, he asked me for this. No, he delights in you asking him for something, because that shows faith. Okay? And it shall be given him, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. I'm not sure. You know? I pray the Lord is dealing with me. I pray he's dealing with us. I hope you can't be in that spirit. Right? You've got to have faith in these words. Why are you doubting these words? Because if you're doubting these words, that means you're doubting Yahawashi, his power. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. In other words, not being double-minded. Right? For he that wavers like the wave of the sea. He just shook it to and fro like the waves. Okay, tossed to and fro. Right? And it says, and wind and tossed, for let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. So when you're in that spirit, especially when a particular doctrine comes out, you're going to be tossed and fro with it. And the scripture says that in Ephesians what? 5? I think 5 and 14, somewhere. Not being tossed about with every wind of doctrine. I think it's fourth chapter. So men that are not sure of anything, you notice there's a pattern. Everything they do, they're just double-minded. They're not sure. Right? They can't make a decision and stick with it. Even when it comes to the doctrine, that's why a lot of men, they fall victim to what? False doctrines. Because they were never sure, they were never grounded. Okay? But for let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. So you're not going to receive anything if you don't really believe. Okay? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Not some. Not just in one or two things. All his ways. Everything he does. That's going to follow through what your life. And nobody wants that. Yahawashi doesn't want that. Unsure. That's why the scripture says you cannot have two masters. He will what? Love one and hate the other. Right? Let the brother of low degree rejoice when he is exalted. So there's going to be brothers in this truth, they're of low degree, and they won't be exalted in due time. Right? In due time. Okay? But the rich in that he is made low. Right? So the rich that are exalted, they have to be made low. Right? The rich of this world, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away. Right? For the sun is no sooner risen with the burning heat, right? But it what? Withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, right? Which means what? Perish, okay? And the grace of the fashion of it perisheth. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. Right? The wealthy, the rich, the highly esteemed of this world. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. Right? So blessed, that man's going to be increased. Right? The man that endures temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Right? Which the Lord shall promise to them that love him. Right? So at the end of all that, you're going to receive that crown of life. If you endure through all this, and that's what it's about. Enduring these things. Right? Let's go to Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 10 and... maybe just a minute. Start at 10. Moreover, brethren, I would not, right? That you should be ignorant, not to know how our fathers were under the clouds, right? And all passed through the sea, all right? And that cloud also what? It's a cloud, but what? Cloud by day and fire by night in chariots, right? And all passed through the sea, the Red Sea, and we're all baptized. Clark, baby, just a minute. And we're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and the sea, right? And in the sea. And did eat of that same spiritual meat, right? And did drink the same spiritual drink, right? That manna, right? For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. So who was following them? Yahawashi in them chariots, okay? And the rock was Mashiach. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, right? Why not? Because they were disobedient, right? He was not well pleased with them because they were murmuring, they were unfaithful, they were complaining, right? And it says, for they were overthrown in the wilderness due to what? Their unbelief. Now these things were examples to the intent that we should not lust after evil things, right? Idols, right? And it says, neither be ye idolaters, as was some of them, as it is written. That's why they were destroyed in the wilderness. The people sat down, right, to eat and drink and rose up to play, right? Neither let us commit fornication, right? Spiritual fornication, right? As some of them committed. And fed in one day 20,000. That's a lot, right? Due to what? Unbelief. Okay? Neither let us tempt Mashiach, right? As some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. You have people getting bit by serpents in the wilderness. Why? Because ultimately, what was it? Unbelief, right? That's why. And were destroyed of serpents, okay? Neither murmur ye as some of them also murmured. So you had our people murmuring, complaining. We want to go back to Egypt, the garlics and the leeks. Same thing again's happening today. You have our people murmuring. When they're telling them to do this work, what are they doing? Murmuring. Okay? And we're destroyed of the destroyer. Who was the destroyer? Yahawashi. That was sending what? Them angels. Right? Now all these things happen unto them for examples. The scriptures were written for our learning. Right? And in other words, examples to what? To have faith. Okay? And they are written for our admonition, our warning, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore, let him that thinketh that he standeth take heed, lest he fall. Right? So that's what part of what self-examination every day. What do I need to work on? Right? constantly. And even if you have to watch your videos back and say, I didn't like this, this is alright, I didn't like that. This is what I need to improve on. That's taking heed to what thyself. Right? Where have no temptation taken you? Right? Comforting words. I mean, you know, we shut off on this. But such as is common to man. So it's a common thing. Such that is common to man. Other men that are in his truth. But the Most High is faithful. Right? Who will not suffer you to be tempted above your measure. So there's comfort in that. He says, he will not suffer you to be what? Tempted above your measure. Above what you can handle. Right? So he's going to give you what you can handle. He ain't going to give you what you can't handle. Right? He will not suffer you to be tempted above, but you are able. But with the temptation, also make a way to escape. Right? That you may be able to bear it. So within that temptation, Yahawashi will always look for what? A good escape in that temptation. Why? Because what was that? That was that trial. Right? It was that trial of faith that you're being put through. Okay? So let's go to Job 4. This is Job 4 and 3. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. So you got to remember, when you were strengthening others, right? The weak hands, you were giving others good words. Thy words of upholding him that was falling, right? And thou strengthened the feeble knees. So Job, he was strengthening those that were feeble, right? And thou strengthened the feeble knees, but now it cometh unto thee, right? Thou faintest, it toucheth thee and thou art troubled. So you don't want to be in a spirit that you're exhorting others, but when he comes your way, you faint. Right? It's not this thy fear. So this is what Job's friend was asking him. Ain't this your fear? Thy confidence, thy hope. So that's what was being asked. And uprightness of thy ways. So Job's friends, they were saying to him, well, you fear Yahawashi, so now you're going through these things. What's this for? To prove you. Right? To see if you're acceptable. Okay? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish, be an innocent. So this is what Job's friends were saying to him. You're not innocent, so wherever you perish, but they didn't understand the matter. Or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plough iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. Right? So Job's friend was basically saying, well, you must have been sowing wickedness for this to happen. Right? But he wasn't. Right? So even in this truth, when you read about Job, his friends were jumping to conclusions. Right? It's not that what they were saying it's not that what they were saying was not right, but they were jumping to conclusions concerning Job. Right? So always be mindful of these things, right, that we go through. Okay? Check the time. I could be here for longer, baby, but we want to close this shop, baby. Alright, this is Proverbs 9 and 34. Start at 33. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Right? Don't refuse this word. Blessed is the man that heard me watching daily at my gates. These are the gates. We're watching and we're hearing Yahawashi. What's he what? What's he going to say to us? What's he going to give us to speak to the people? Right? Waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoso, right, findeth me, findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. Yahweh, why Yahawashi? Right? But he that sinneth against me don't believe Yahawashi, wrongeth his own soul. And all that hate me love death. So the main thing is what? To stay preoccupied on Yahawashi, and also what? Prophecy. But the scripture says the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So Yahawashi is prophecy. When you speak of Yahawashi, he is prophecy. Right? So with this, I hope this was edifying. It was a bit over the place today. But Lord, with this was edifying. And until the next time, shalom to the hopeful elect across the globe. Shalom.